Were You Ever a Child? By Floyd Dell. Chapter 7. The Canonization of Book Magic. It was inevitable that the particular kind of knowledge which is represented by books should become the property of a certain caste. And it was inevitable that this caste should confine the hereditary transmission of their knowledge chiefly to such works as had been transmitted from the previous generation. Fortunately, the literate caste could not extinguish literature, for the presumptively less sacred writings which had been denied entrance to the canon because they were new were, so to speak, allowed to lie around loose where everybody could get at them. Thus the true magic of book knowledge was released from the boundaries of caste and became more and more a universal property. But nobody had any great respect for this growing body of profane literature. Popular awe was reserved for the body of sacred literature in the possession of the specifically literate caste. Frequently, the distinction was marked by deliberate difference in the languages or characters in which the two kinds of literature were written, sacred literature being written in the older hieratic writing which nobody not of the literate caste could read. Note the result at this stage of the process. It is precisely those books which are, on the whole, least likely to be of present value to mankind, which are regarded with superstitious reverence. The most striking example is found in pre-revolutionary China, where the relics of an age utterly out of touch with the newer achievements in human adaptation were learned by heart in the schools and made the basis of civil service examinations. At this point of our ideal but not at all fanciful sketch, a new factor enters: class jealousy. The literate caste is found to be associated and partly identified with the leisure class. Sacred literature has become leisure class literature, and the aspirations of the less fortunate classes toward leisure class prerogatives include a special desire tinged with the old superstitious reverence for the forbidden books. These were more or less unconsciously supposed to be, if not actually responsible for, at least bound up with, leisure class power. And finally, the great democratizing movements in which some enterprising lower class wrests from some moribund leisure class its possessions, seizes triumphant hold on its classics, and makes them a general possession. This sketch is so pieced together from all times and places that it may decidedly seem to need the reinforcement of evidence. Let us therefore call to the stand that young man over there who looks like an intelligent young immigrant. He comes unabashed, and we proceed to question him. Do you buy books? Yes, of course. Admirable. You need a new pair of shoes, and yet you buy books. Well, what books do you buy? Havelock Ellis, Edward Carpenter, Zola, Nietzsche? See here, you must be a socialist. Yes. What of it? What of it? Why, I'm talking about reverence, and you haven't got any. You're not looking for the noblest utterances of mankind. You're looking for weapons with which to cut your way through the jungle of contemporary hypocrisies. Of course. Well, how do you expect me to prove my theory by you? You are excused. We'll have to try again. There's another one. Eager young immigrant, thirsting for the treasures locked in our English tongue. Come here, my lad. What books do you read? Shaw and Veblen, by any chance? No, sir. I'm going to the English literature class at the Social Settlement, and I'm reading The Idylls of the King. I've read Addison's essays and Shakespeare, and I'm going to take up the Iliad. The classics, eh? Yes, sir. All the things they study at college. Ever hear of Dr. Eliot's 5-foot shelf? Yes, sir. I own it. How much do you make a week? $18? Thank you. That's all. And there you are. But please don't misunderstand me. Disparagement of the classics as such is far from being the point of my remarks. One may regard the piano as a noble instrument and yet point out the unprecedented sale of pianos during the war as an example of the influence of class jealousy in interior decoration. For observe that it is not the intrinsic merit of book or piano which wins the regard of the class, long envious of its betters and now able by a stroke of luck to parade its class paraphernalia. It is the stamp of caste that makes it desirable. An accordion which merely makes music would not serve the purpose. That boy who owns Dr. Eliot's 5-foot shelf does not want mere vulgar enlightenment. He wants an acquaintance with such books as have an aura of hereditary academic approval. And it is for the same reason that Latin and Greek have so apparently fixed a place in our public education. They were part of the system of educating gentlemen's sons in England, and what was good enough to be threshed into the hides of gentlemen's sons is good enough for us.